Welcome to Bible Shorts, episode number 1, The Promise. Today, we're going to learn about someone who is mentioned more than 70 times in the New Testament. Jesus talks about him. Scribes and Pharisees are always talking about him, even the Apostle Paul. And who is this man? And why do they keep mentioning him? Well, to find out, we have to go back to the first book in the Bible, Genesis. And there we learn that there's a man who lives in a city called Haran in northern Mesopotamia. His name is Abram, and he has a wife named Sarai. Later on, God is going to change their names to Abraham and Sarah, but for now, we'll call them Abram and Sarai. And they don't have any kids. Important fact. The whole story depends on this piece of information. Well, then one day, out of the blue, God speaks to Abram and says, I want you to leave this country. I want you to leave your home, your family, your father's house, and go to the land I'm going to show you. I am going to make you into a great nation. I'm going to bless you, and all the people of the earth will bless themselves by your name. Well, can you guess what Abram did? They did it. They packed up everything. Abram, Sarai, and his nephew Lot. All their sheep, their cattle, their goats, everything, all their servants. This was not a one-car trip. This was a whole bunch of people. And they eventually stopped in the land of Canaan in a walled city called Shechem. And guess what? There it happened again. God spoke to Abram and said, I'm going to give this land to your descendants. And Abram thought, wow, this is great. So what did he do? He built an altar. To say thank you to your God, you take a bunch of rocks and pile them up and build a fire pit. And then, you take a sheep or a goat or a cow or something, and you slaughter them and you cook the meat on top of the altar. Some of the stuff, gets burned up for God, but the rest of it, whoa, everybody else sits down and has barbecue. Yay, party. Well, then what did they do? They packed everything up again and they headed south again, until they got to a spot near Bethel and Ai. And then it turns out that Lot and Abram have got to separate because they've got too many animals. And all their shepherds in the field, their servants, are fighting because there's not enough grass, there's not enough water for everyone. So they split up. And Lot and his family and all his servants and animals head east across the Jordan River. And Abram and Sarai and all their servants and animals stay on the west side of the Jordan in the hill country. And it happens again. God speaks to Abram and says, I want you to look north, south, east, west. I'm going to give all this land to you and your descendants. And then after further adventures, it happens again, a fourth time. Abram is like having a vision or a dream or something, and he hears God saying to him, don't be afraid, Abram. I'm your shield. Your reward is going to be very great. And for the first time, Abram talks back to God. He says, well, what is it exactly that you're going to do? He says, I have no children. And then somehow in this dream or vision, God takes Abram outside and says, look up at all the stars in the heavens. Can you count them? Your descendants will be as many as the stars in the heavens. And you know what? The most surprising thing of all happens. Abram believes God. And God is very pleased. Now, there's just one problem. But Sarai is thinking of a different solution. And in episode 2, we'll find out exactly what it is that Sarai has in mind.